trucks move and the truck is still tall. So I'm like, no way, I'm not going to make it. So at the end, I said, okay, it doesn't matter if I'm going to make it or not, I'm going to jump up. If I die here, it's better for my family to find my corpse and then go with those people and didn't know what they're going to do with me. So I'm like, I'm going to jump up no matter what. So I convinced my friend because she wasn't going to do it. She knows if they see her, they're going to shoot us. So she's like, they're going to kill us. I'm not going to risk it. I'm like, it's okay, let's do it. It's fine. We better die than go with them. So she's like, okay, sure. And we jumped out, but we ran. When I jumped out, I fell with my stomach. So I got up and started running to the bush. When she saw that, okay, I was okay, so she jumped out as well. And then, but we ran through different directions. We didn't got home together. While I was running in the bush, I met two of my classmates who also jumped out. I screamed because I thought they were the Boko Haram people who came to get me back. So we continued running together. From there, while we were running for hours and hours, we didn't sleep, and a motorcycle man was passing by, and we asked him to please take us home. He said he's not going to take us home without knowing who we are. So we said, okay. We didn't trust from that time on. We didn't trust anyone. We didn't want to tell him who we are because we are scared. We didn't trust him. So I'm like, no, we shouldn't tell him who we are. Some of us said we have to tell him in order for him to help us. We need help. We cannot continue running like this. Our feet are all bloody because the bush was a thorny bush, so it scratched our skin and everything. And they're like, we have to get help. So we gave up at the end. We told him who we are, and he's like, yeah, sure, why not? So he took us back to Chibok. And while we went back to Chibok, parents from the schools went to the school and look, there are no students, and everyone is crying. Where are the students? When they saw us, they gathered around. Where are the rest of the girls? We're like, we jumped out of the truck. We don't know. Some of them jump out as well. So I don't know if your kids are in it, if your daughter is in it, but we don't know. So they might get back. So be patient, and we just comfort them where everyone is crying. While I went home, my mom was as well crying, like I am dead. So my neighbors were there for her, comforting her and everything.
This is Shining Light TV station, London, worldwide. You can see the continue of Governor Show Us Your Work. Senator, where is your surgery? Voters' rights. Imagine, thank God I've been talking about these Chibu girls. I want to do documentary about the boarding house. And this thing, I was going to do the internet studying. And this documentary surfaced, you know. So this is what we are talking about. Governor, show us your work. Senator, where is your surgery? Voters' right. In a country like that, Boko Haram is claiming they are terrorists, you know. Who brought Boko Haram? Is it not the government? You know, the government wants to rule their voters as with terrorists. You know, they did not provide security for them. Look at, this is why I'm interceding on this documentary. I'm going to send the message, and I know I want to do a lot of documentary about Chibu girls, about kidnapping of students. You know, this is part of Governor, show us your work. Senator, where is your surgery? Voters' right. And this documentary is not copyright. We are just using it to analyze the work of Governor, show us your work. Senator, where is your surgery? Voters' right. You can see what is going on. Is that government? I can't see this as a government. Thank you. We continue. Let the girl continue with her speech.
And two congresswomen from the United States, Congress Wilson and Joyce, they went to Nigeria to hear the story from us because they've been hearing like a little bit of the story. They don't know the complete story. So they went to Nigeria to hear from the students who escaped. And that was how she looks for scholarship here for us to continue our studies. And I didn't want to continue studying because of what they said at that time. But when I was accepted in Grundy, Virginia, I'm like, okay, I want to become a doctor, save lives. Then if I do not go to school, that is not going to be possible. So I have to go to school. I'm thinking of making that decision while I'm still thinking that the voice that said, do not go to school or else wherever you go, do not think you're safe. We are going to get
Look
you.
at the trauma.
That voice is still there.
Following her.
I'm still deciding. I'm like, okay, fine. I'm going to go to school no matter what. So I'm not giving up my dreams. I'm going. And that was how I made the decision of coming here to continue my study. I will. My own prayers and hope is like for schools to be protected and for students not to go through what I went through, because it wasn't a good experience and no student will want to go. I will never want to repeat that horrible experience. So I do not want any student to go through that same experience. And the way that will happen is if schools are protected. So my own advice is the government need to protect schools for students to go and study their careers and go out and just change the world, be involved. Without education, then we'll not even all be here. Like, everyone has a good position because of an education. So why preventing other children of their own right? Like, it's the right of every child to go to school. That's what I believe. So if schools are protected, if the government protects its people, and the students are being protected and feel safe to study, then they will study their career and go out and be. If the schools are not protected, then many generations will not be educated, which will not be good because no one will get a good position and
so
no one
when
will
we raised alarm about
leader.
what about my client, they now started denying they didn't enter there. And when the British government requested the federal government to observe them, the whereabouts of their citizen. Right? So they've been speaking from both sides of the mouth at all times. So I urge you to verify whatever reports you're getting from them and possibly disbelieve them.
Has the federal government
because what took place in my client's place on the 14th day of September 2017 is a clear case of state-sponsored terrorism and genocide. That's what took place there. And we have the video clips. It's unimpeccable and clear. You see the gunshot. You see when they were approaching. You see the gunshot. You see some cops they left behind at the point they were leaving. You see, you can even the video I sent you. If you going viral, you also see them shooting. How can they deny it with their APC armored personnel carrier and their guns? They're not telling the Nigerian military is not telling they didn't go there.
As the federal
Are you to believe them?
Well, it's not in my place to disbelieve them. Has the federal government ever reached out to you to see if you could ask Nnamdi Kanu to tame his followers?
To me? Yes. No, nobody has spoken to me. No. Of course, you should know how me and nobody has ever, as a matter of fact, they've not established contact with me in that regard.
At all?
Yeah.
They've never established contact with you?
Yeah.
Even in regards to asking him?
But let me say this to you. Let me say this because I forgot. Let me say this to you. Now, federal government is fully aware that we're in court. And the matter is coming up on October 17th, 2017 for hearing. And then Nnamdi Kanu is has been enjoying his bail condition before then, right? Now, there's no law that says that in the course of enjoying that bail granted him by the court, and he committed an offense, that will not be arrested. There's no law that says he cannot be arrested. Are you getting me? If they thought that Nnamdi Kanu has committed an offense, what they would have simply done is to investigate him, either by the police, DSS, or even police or DSS, because army has no place in investigating a civilian, right? Then, if I had invited him come, we are investigating a case of this or that, right? Then he refused to come, you cannot go after him. Let me just clear this. Nnamdi Kanu has not been a time he was invited by the police, or DSS, or civil defense, or whatever you can call it, or anybody, any security agency investigating him. Nobody investigated him. So, if the intention was to arrest him, right, they wouldn't have gone to his house to do that. They wouldn't have gone to his house to kill people. They would have gone to his house to shoot people. they would have gone to start to destroy things there. They were waiting for him to come to court on 7th of October. Are you getting me? They were waited. But to show that the intention was to kill him. The intention was to kill him, that's all. And that was why they shoot sporadically. So even inside the room, you can see the bullet holes in the wall, his bedroom walls, and also the entire building. Who were they shooting? And he was in the room when this thing happened. He was there. So they were waiting for him to come to court on October 17th. And he has been announcing to the public, people, he has announced to the public, well-wishers and friends, please join me, I'm going to court on October 17th on solidarity. In fact, at one time he told him, so one occasion he told people that he's going to call Abuja Federal Court on October 17th with about 1.9 million people coming with him. 2 million people. Thank you for that one, 2 million people.
Yes, it was in that
So he won because they found that the federal government has no winnable case against him in court. And this is a person that arrested since he was arrested on October 14, 2015, right? Up to date, they've not opened their case. Anytime the matter is coming up in court, they will introduce one thing or other. Either they will introduce an amendment to the charge by bringing the parties or elaborating the charge. In fact, the last one that happened was that they from 6-count charge preferred against him and 3 other persons, they now enlarged it to 11-count charge. At that point, I said, no, let us challenge this charge. I filed an application challenging the competence of the charge.
But do you feel that he...
Are you getting me? So I'm just telling you the tricks. They don't want to do the case. What they want is just to keep it behind bars. Because if they want to do the case, they will open their case. So when they enlarge the charge from 5-count charge to 11-count charge, we filed an application challenging the competence of the charge. And the court struck 6 out of 11. Remaining 5. Even the offense of treasonable felony, the court made a specific remark. The court told the federal governmental lawyer, that look, before me, that the proof of evidence attached to this charge cannot even establish this charge. Cannot. But since you said you have a video clip, you are going to bring. Go and bring, let me see. Now, this video clip has not been made available to us in line with the standard rules of the court. Because if you are finding a proof of this and support of the charge, you must give the defendants copies of what they find in court, including video clips. You are relying upon to enable us to prepare for his defense. So they know they have no winnable case against him. Are you getting me? So that was why they said, okay, the best thing for us to do is to just carry out this our understanding with our people. Let us go down, take the war down to that place. Because that's what they were saying. They said they're going to take the war down to Namikano's house. And that was what they did. So up till now, my sister can't find my client. I don't know where he is. That's the truth.
Do you feel
they
that?
Are in a position to go and produce him. And if let me use this opportunity to beg the military. Simple. If they have killed him, let them be magnanimous enough to hand over the corpse to the family for a befitting burial. Now the kind is the prince. But God forbid. It's the prince. It's the heir apparent to the throne of Alpha the Uku Kingdom. Are you getting me? So it's the prince. So if they have killed him, let them hand over the corpse to the family for befitting burial. That's what I'm asking for. We're not asking for much. Or if not killed him, let them produce him in court. We're not afraid of court. Thank God they've gone back to court. We're in court. Even the prescription of order they obtained from Federal High Court, we are going to vacate it. As I speak to you, it's coming up on 23rd of October for hearing. Let them come back to court. We'll be winning them in court.
I wanted to know from you, do you feel that the court order to revoke his bail conditions were in order?
There's no court order to revoke his bail condition. They filed an application for revocation of his bail condition. On the ground, they say that they are alleging that he has flattered some of his bail terms, right? Mm-hmm. Now, we filed a counter to that application. The application was filed on 25th of August 2017. We filed a counter to that application. It hasn't been heard. It's only been heard. The matter is coming up on 17th. Traditionally, the only pending application will be heard on that day, 17th October, including the one we filed and also the one they filed, right? So the application has not been granted. And besides, military is not an enforcement arm of the court. No order has been given for them to arrest Nnamdi Kanu in the manner that they did. Or to invade this house in the manner they did. The court never instructed them to do that. And military by section 215 of the Constitution has no capacity, has no powers to delve into civil unrest, civil duties. It's clear, isn't it?
So we're going to stop Nnamdi Kanu barrister there. and let's finish Joy's topic, you know. Let's finish the Boko Haram topic and come back to this.
Will not be educated, which will not be good because no one will get a good position and no one will be a leader because of educations. Some of us got to be presidents, ambassadors, chairmen, and we just have good positions. Then why is it that we cannot protect other students to study? Another day we will not all be here. Then the young generations need to be in that same position in order to make the nations, to make the countries move on. So if we are not protected to study in a safe place, and then we're being attacked, killed, and by people who do not believe in education, then all that dreams and hope and the dreams and hope of children studying and becoming something in the future to help the nations, then it will not be possible. So I advise that schools should be protected, and thank you so much for listening.
If you need a new website for your business,
there's no
don't
other,
skip this
there's
video.
no other booking is bad.
Millions of businesses
That's what I
across
have
the
met.
And you don't think that he ever flouted those?
I said he hasn't flattered. What I'm telling them is that because what the federal government is trying to do is what their interest is actually is to ensure that it's kept behind bars in perpetuity. I've said this to the public, I've said it in several forums. They are not after the case. Are you getting me? What they want is just how to keep him behind the bars. Because they have no winnable case in court. Even the application they filed seeking for the revocation of his bail cannot stand, cannot even sit, cannot fly. Before they were filed an application to vacate some of these bail conditions. What now the can is facing because the 3-count charge of terrible felony? Right? Importation of goods, right? And what do you call it? And making defamatory statement, right? So these are 3-count charges facing in court. What I've been telling the federal government, through the prosecution, bring their witnesses to court. That's the business of the court. The business of the court is not about his bail condition or bail terms. No. The business of the court is come and open your case. In fact, as a matter of fact, on the 25th day of April, the court made it clear to everybody. In fact, the court made it as an order of the court. Now look, let me tell you, let me warn you, Labaran, let me warn you people. I am not ready to entertain any interlocutory application on this case again. That's what the court said. Let me say to everybody, I'm making it an order now. I'm not ready to entertain any interlocutory application again. Bring your witnesses in court on 11th and 12th of July. You told the prosecution. We agreed. We left. 2 weeks before the matter was supposed to be coming up for hearing, they filed an application for amendment of the charge. Wherein they brought in Chile wrong the way. As 5th defendant in the case. Now, the implication of what they did is that the trial will no longer go on. Because the parties, all the defendants are going to take a fresh plea to the charge. And when that is done, apparently the lawyers appearing for them now, we apply for either for their bail or for the bail granted my client to be subsisting. Right? I will apply for the bail granted my client to be subsisting. While others will apply for a fresh bail application on behalf of their clients. Now, the irony of this is that Chide was arrested on October 14th, 2016 by SSS in Port Harcourt. You know, you're not Port Harcourt in you, right? Now, he has been in detention even when the charge was amended for them to include Chidebere the second defendant now. He was in detention. They detained him for such longer period of time before I filed an application before the Federal High Court to you for the enforcement of his fundamental rights. Are you with me? So the court, the process filing the suit was served on them. Then they didn't enter appearance whatsoever. They didn't enter appearance in the suit. The court had my application on the merit, granted relief sought from the court, and also awarded damages of 5 million naira against the SSS. That order was served on them, expecting them to pay us the money because we need money in this case. So So pay all the 5 million naira. Federal government has money now. So they didn't, instead of them complying with court order, which said release this guy, release Valley Fried Chimes, and also pay him 5 million naira damages. They now smuggled him in as fifth defendant in the suit. Do you know the funny part of it? Chimeze is now being arraigned on a 1-count charge of conspiracy to commit civil felony, which offense does not carry punishment for more than 5 years. Now, Benjamin Madbu was also arrested on October 2015. David Nwawesi was also arrested on July 2015. Chidebe Onwudi was also arrested last year, 2016. And they are being charged on offense of conspiracy to commit civil felony. And also, Ben was also charged for offense of unlawful possession of firearms. These are offenses that do not attract serious punishment. They are ordinary level in law. They've been in detention to date. They've been there. So I understand these guys are facing political trial. There's no two ways about it. We in this country have laws that have 2 colors. Right? We have laws that have 2 colors. In the system, we have operate laws that have 2 colors. One for the east, one for the north. Now, where people are causing havoc down up there, threatening the citizens of this country, security of this country, none of them has been arrested. They're going to kill people, they're going to do this, they're going to do this, they're going to kill all the Igbos, kill all the Southerners living in Northern State. Nobody has been arrested. Nobody, not one person. At one time, Kaduna State Governor issued an empty threat, directing police to arrest him. They told him that he's looking for fire. They told him that he was looking for fire. That if he there arrest any of the members, he will see fire. And what happened? What happened? Then these are people that have committed no offense known to law. No offense whatsoever. They've been in detention for the past 2 years, going to 3 years now, and nobody's speaking. Nobody is speaking. The guns found in Benjamin Madubugu's house were all fully licensed. He has license. Yes, high license. Why is he being detained? He's seriously sick as I speak to you now, in the prison. Ben is seriously sick today.
Barrister, there's another legal action against Nigerian officials and Nigerian military officials in the USA. Yes. Are you aware of that?
I'm fully aware.
Are you a part of that?
These are actions being handled by foreign partners, right? It has to do with the unlawful massacre, genocidal massacre of members or armless, defenseless members of IPOB on between 29th and 30th of May last year. The Amnesty International issued a report, very mind-boggling report, wherein they indicted Nigerian military personnel for that genocide attack, for unprovoked attack on the innocent people, unless people. So the matter has gone to US, and they're handling it over there. I'm fully aware about the matter. And even this one now, the one they committed, the genocide they committed in my client's house. Now, we are going to RCC. Yes, they must come there one day to answer to charges. They must come. We're in RCC as I speak to you now. I'm not sure I've been fired there.
Explain to the viewing public what would happen if Nnamdi Kanu were to get arrested now that IPOB is declared a terrorist organization.
The fact is that declaration of IPOB as a terrorist organization has political undertone and cannot stand. That's the law. There are laid down rules, regulations, and procedures of a terrorist group, which IPOB did not fit into any of this. Right? We're in court. That reprehensible order will be vacated. Even if the court refused to vacate it, we're going to call our people to get it vacated. Are you getting me? So that order cannot stand. I told them it cannot stand. So I understand it will serve for temporarily because I know that the law is there. We have the law. You can't just declare people who have no history of violence, who have no history of armed struggle, who are not using any weapon of any kind, people who are fighting for their rights, who are exercising their right to self-determination as provided under the international laws, which Nigeria is a signatory, which Nigeria is bound by those laws. You can't declare them terrorist group. You cannot. What they did at best to call a dog, they give a dog a bag, them not to hang it. It cannot stand. As a matter of fact, the order was made without jurisdiction by the court. Yeah, it was made without jurisdiction. So we are challenging it on about 13 grounds. So which it's coming up for hearing on October 23rd. So when we finish with him, if he refuses to vacate it, we go to court of appeal. So that's for the issue of declaration of IPOB, prescription of IPOB cannot stand. It's just for temporarily. Okay, let me say this to you. Let me explain this scenario. The military first declared IPOB a terrorist organization, right? 2 days after, they made a vote face. When that declaration was condemned by both National Assembly leadership,
Yes.
notable jurists, lawyers in the country, legislative advocates, because the first place they have no such powers to make such pronouncement. I said in my statement, I even addressed that, right? So to tell you about the conspiracy behind that exercise, the AG Federation quickly moved into court and obtained that order, right? That expert order, in line with the laws on such a site, provided for such a site. Now, do you know that same day, same August 20th, that order was obtained, right? Expert order was obtained. Okay, September 20th, right? That order was obtained from High Court. Well, same day, the order was gazetted in Lagos here. Have you seen the head? Have you seen the horrid manner in which the entire thing was done and concluded? So the intention is just, please, because they actually thought the IPOB will revolt. They thought they would provoke them into using arms. And when that fell, they now start exploiting other avenues towards blackmailing them. Because I call what they're doing as blackmail. It cannot hold water. It's blackmailing. Right? So when that fell, because the intention was to provoke these people, let us see if they can use arms, they have weapons, they have guns. Then when that fell, they then discovered that these people have no gun. If you're talking about a terrorist group, before you can classify the group as a terrorist group, there must be incidents of violent crime, armed struggle, using arms, killing people, running away, burning police station, attacking security formations, attacking security agents, killing them. There are features. So in that case, the military will not be called in to aid police in containing the excesses. But in this case, there was no such case as affect IPOB. There's no such case in the first place. There was such case. Nobody has complained to the military or to the police. In fact, as a matter of fact, police has not even complained. Police will tell you that this problem has become unbearable. We have Fulani herdsmen who are moving every day, moving the street of, even Abuja there where we are. They are moving there with AK-47. Every day, killing people killing people that way without being checkmated. You heard about Agatu incident. And Odi in Enugu State. All over the place they've been killing. People who has history of using arms to kill innocent people and innocent and defenseless people have not been arrested, have not been tagged by a terrorist group.
So you're saying that this is a clear case of ethnic cleansing?
Yes! A clear case of ethnic, state-sponsored genocide. Not even the thing about being a state-sponsored genocide and terrorism. Sponsored by the state. Yes! They sponsored it. To decimate the entire Igbos and kill them and annihilate all of them. And that's like, they've killed many of them. That's why today they're subjecting our people to all forms of torture, manner of torture. And you know, before the invasion of the Southeast, you have military checkpoints in the Southeast. You have the SARS, you have the police working. In fact, as a matter of fact, before now, I don't usually travel and stay at home for long. But for the past 3 years, I'll go to the house, travel and stay because the crime rate has reduced drastically. So that will show you that the exercise Python dance is for a purpose. It's for a purpose which is still standing in all ramifications of it.
What is next for IPOB in the events that have led to the disappearance of its leader?
No, what they are saying, and it must be done because international community has already killed him. If Nigeria is not, if this matter is not handled properly, it may eventually lead to Nigeria being sanctioned. Because as I speak to you now, last week Friday, the British government formally wrote to the Nigerian government, asking them the whereabouts of their adversary. That letter must be responded. I get him. That letter must be responded. So they must produce Nnamdi Kanu wherever they kept him. No two ways about it. Because other international community are also keen up. They know that what is happening in the South is has political undertone. Are you getting me? They have political undertone. It's an understanding by a certain section of the people to deal with these people. Let's deal with them.
Finally, what are your last words?
My last word is I'm begging the federal government to produce my client, Nnamdi Kanu. If they have killed him, let them be kind enough to oblige us, the family, the corpse, for befitting burial.
And this is Shining Light TV station, London. You have heard from the horse's mouth. So we're going to leave him to conclude. And this video is not copyright. We are just using it to analyze our talking, to see what is going on, to see how the Boko Haram they are invading churches. Even the one I had, they went to TB Joshua. It was a shock for me. So listen and know how to secure your people. Thank you.
Right? They will not sort that things out in court. Yeah, that's my prayer. My prayers in the circumstance. I can't go beyond this. Because I don't know the position of my client today. At least if I can see my client now, if he's alive, if I have access to him now, I can now, okay, now, federal government, do this or do that. But now, I'm talking about my client's state of whereabouts. I don't know where he is.
Do you feel frustrated?
I can't be frustrated. Now, who will frustrate me? I can't be frustrated. I will get to the root of it. And it will happen in court. Nobody will frustrate me. And nobody will kill me. Tell them. They cannot kill me because they didn't create me. They never created me. It's God that created me. So they won't kill me. So the point is that they must produce my client whether they want it or not. If it's there, they should give it. They will bring the cost. Let the family go and bury him. He's alive. Let them bring the let them produce me in court. So we are in a constitutional democracy where rule of law is supreme. We are not under a military regime. They should know that. Tell them. Yeah, you should tell them. Let them know.
Thank you very much, Barrister.
Thank you so much.